Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition. Battle tested, expert formulated. Use discount code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. All right, Gym Bros, Big Paul here. And I'm going to talk about my tummy tuck surgery and gyno surgery that I had. I think it was about 6 years ago. I had 2 rounds of gyno surgery. Actually, I did my first one in 2005, and I needed to have part of it repaired or fixed, whatever you want to call it, in 2018. This has been a popular request. I have been hesitant to talk about it because I just hated the experience of it. But I want to be transparent about everything. I'm going to let you guys know what I went through, what it was like having a tummy tuck surgery, what it was like having gyno surgery, not once, but twice. And I probably need another one to fix the right pec up a little bit more. I'm going to dig into all that. I'm going to talk about it in just 1 second. All right, my gyno and tummy tuck surgery experience. It was pretty horrific, to be honest with you. I have mixed feelings about both. I'm glad now that I had them, but at the time, it really sucked when I did it. The original gyno surgery I had was, I think, 2004, 2005-ish, somewhere around there. I had gyno since puberty. I had it before I ever took any PEDs. A lot of dudes do. I never had a defined chest growing up, even though I was skinny. I think it was 175 pounds or something like that when I graduated high school, 180 pounds, probably about the same. I think when I got through college, I maybe got up to like 190 or 195. I was always a skinny dude. Then I was fat probably in middle school, and then I got skinny when I was in high school and started playing basketball a bunch. And that leaned me out, and I was more athletic then. But I always had gyno. I never knew what it was. I remember being a teenager, and my nipples would be sore all the time, and I didn't understand, sore and itchy, and I didn't know why. I asked the doctor about it, and he told me it was normal, not to worry about it. And the first time I took steroids, I think I was 19 or 20 years old, somewhere around there. I was in college. I don't remember. I took I believe it was Anadrol. It was just some pills somebody gave me, said, here, steroids. That's how much we knew back in the early 90s. I'm old. There was no internet then. There were no resources really other than Dan Duchesne's book. I don't even know if it was out then for steroids. You just had to trust what some bro in the gym told you. He handed me a bag of pills, said, here's some steroids. I took them, and my gyno went to the next level when I took them. It was probably D-ball, maybe Anadrol. I don't know what the pills were. I do remember I got exceptionally strong, and my gyno got exceptionally out of control. I had these giant marble-sized lumps under my nipples. My nipples felt like they were on fire, and I continued to take steroids off and on through my 20s. I never really knew what the hell I was doing. The first time I actually did a proper blast and cruise with testosterone, I was pushing closer to 30 years old. And I remember, I think it was Tren that made me really, like, my gyno just got really out of control with Tren. Tren and Test, the lethal combo. And my gyno just got severely out of control. I was very embarrassed about it. I would wear loose shirts. I hated wearing tank tops because you could see it hanging out the side of my tank top. So I decided to go get gyno surgery done. And the mistake I made, I did not go to a plastic surgeon. I went to a general surgeon when I had it fixed the first time. Actually, now that I think about it, I had 3 procedures done, not 2, 3 on my left pec. The very first procedure was in 1999. That is the one where I went to a general surgeon. I'm completely drawing a blank here. I forgot about the first one. So my left pec I had done 3 different times. I went to a general surgeon. He did a horrible job. He cut the pec open. The reason I went there is because I didn't want to pay for a plastic surgeon. Thought I was saving money having a general surgeon. He just took the lump out and left most of the gland tissue there, and it just grew back. The second time I had it done, I had both sides done, which was in 2005. I also chinched out that time too. I went to a cheap surgeon who didn't know what the hell he was doing. I should have went to somebody who worked on bodybuilders. He did not get all the gland out. He left a bunch of scar tissue in there. And it didn't look good. It didn't look good. He got some of it out, but once again, it all grew back. I came off steroids somewhere around age 32. I'm trying to think, 2007, about the time my daughter was born. And I came off for about 10 to 12 years. All the way up to 2018, I think, is when I went back just on TRT. It wasn't anything crazy. But when I went back on TRT, it started to grow again. You can see the picture here this was when I started my fitness journey back up. It was early 2018, I think. When I got back into the gym and started lifting weights again. I was sort of skinny fat. I got super fat there for a bit, and then I got skinny fat, and my body composition just went to crap. I have this magic thing that I can do when I stop training and I stop paying attention to my diet. I lose weight and get fat at the same time. It's pretty cool. But you can see here, I was skinny fat. I was like 220 pounds in this picture, and I looked like shit, and I had really bad gyno. The skin on my stomach was loose from yo-yoing weight. I perma-bulked when I was in my 20s. I think I got up over 300 pounds for a while, 310, something like that, and then I worked my way back down to 220, 225, somewhere in that range. I think I was in this picture, 220. Right now, I'm sitting around 250, 260. I fluctuate. I'll push up as high as 270 in the off season sometimes. But regardless, you could see I was kind of skinny fat. I had loose skin on my belly. Nothing crazy. I had some stretch marks from being fat. And I also had a melanoma that I had to have removed around that time that scarred my stomach up and sort of deformed my stomach. I've had multiple surgeries on my stomach, and so there's a lot of scars on there that aren't from the tummy tuck surgery. When I went in to have the tummy tuck surgery, the surgeon tried to clean some of that stuff up, clean some of the scar tissue out. So in 2018, I went back. You can see here, this is what the pre-op picture looks like. This is the day before the surgery. This picture here. I went back to a surgeon that was recommended to me highly, local guy. He did a fantastic job. No complaints about him. He was definitely an expert. If I were to go back and have more work done, I would definitely go to him. This guy knows what the hell he's doing. Fantastic surgeon. Fantastic surgeon. He went in, he evaluated me, and he said I needed a mini tummy tuck, which was a skin excision. He cut a hole in my belly button and repositioned my belly button, pulled the excess skin off, tightened it up, and he also did lipo on my right pec. He said that my right pec just needed lipo to clean it up. There wasn't really breast tissue in there. In hindsight, there was a little bit, or maybe it grew after the surgery. I'm not 100% sure. So he lipoed my right pec. You can see in the post-op pictures, which are pretty gruesome, by the way, so graphic content warning, that I had some fat in there. There wasn't really any tissue. And then he opted to do the surgery on my left pec later, which had a bunch of excess breast tissue, mammary gland, whatever you want to call it, and also some scar tissue in there that needed to be cleaned up and reconstructed, since that would be the third surgery on that left pec. So 3 surgeries on my left pec, 2 on my right, and I probably still need a third one on my right pec to get all the gland out. So there's an issue with taking all the gland out, and you can see it in my pictures, guys. Love to comment on it. I had him take all the gland out in my left picture, and that caused my nipple to collapse. So my left nipple looks weird. My right one is poking out. My left one is not. And the reason the right one is still poking out is because there is a marble size, maybe not quite marble size, somewhere between a marble and a pea size piece of gyno right behind that nipple that pushes it out. and makes it look weird. And there's a little bit extra fat tissue in there. So I probably at some point need to go in and have him cut that out. And so everything looks symmetrical. Also, when he did the left pec, he excised some skin. So that nipple sits a little higher than my right nipple. They're asymmetrical. I had a horrible experience after the surgery, and likely my fault. I was stubborn and didn't stop taking my supplements before the surgery. I kept taking fish oil pills, thinking that I needed them to prevent cardiovascular risk and all this stuff, not knowing, and I should have known better. Well, I actually did know. I just was stubborn and idiotic that it could potentially cause a bleed. I thought they were overstating the potential for a bleed. And I had a massive hematoma the next morning after my surgery. You can see it in the picture. You can see the football-sized hematoma that I had in my stomach, and it continued to bleed. I had to go back in and have a second emergency surgery done to clean up that hematoma and to cauterize any open veins that were in my stomach and to fix that. Had to completely open everything up and sew it back up. So that probably caused me to have some additional scarring and additional recovery time post-surgery. The bleed was nasty. It was a horrible experience. You can see here, these pictures are from about 30 days post-surgery. And I'll be honest with you, I had inflammation in my stomach for probably a year after I had the surgery. It took about a year for it to calm back down. About 4 months post-surgery, I was recovered enough where he felt comfortable going in and doing my gyno on my left pec and removing the gland tissue. And you can see here, this is all the junk that he removed from my left pec. Some of it's gland, some of it's scar tissue. You can even see pieces of stitches and junk that the previous surgeon had left in there from before. The doctor that did the second surgery couldn't believe how awful the first surgery was done. And he showed me like bits of stuff, like there was bits of surgical stuff that were left in my pec. Unfucking believable, man. This is why you have to make sure if you're going to have the surgery done that you get a good surgeon that's going to take good care of you. Somebody that's experienced on working on bodybuilders. I can't emphasize that enough. If you're going to have this surgery done, and you want to get on stage, make sure you find somebody that knows how to work on bodybuilders. But anyway, this is all the junk that he pulled out of my left pec. And you can see here post-surgery, this is what everything looked like post-surgery in this picture. This was the day after my surgery. And it was pretty swollen. It was pretty inflamed. And it recovered fairly quick. I was able to get back into the gym in a few weeks. It settled down pretty quick. I know it looks nasty in this picture, but there was a lot of junk in there that he took out. The tummy tuck, it was a good 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks I was out of the gym. And it took me a while to go back to training easily. The tummy tuck, like I said, it took a good solid year before the inflammation in my stomach settled down, and I had to be careful training. I noticed like my abs get really tight, even though they didn't operate on the abdominal wall. What I had done was a mini tummy tuck. There's many different types of tummy tucks. Women, a lot of times they'll cut the abdominal wall and tighten the abdominal wall up because the abdominal wall has been stretched out from being pregnant. For me, I just had a skin excision done, which is a mini tummy tuck where they cut you from hip bone to hip bone, pull that skin down, get rid of that excess skin. You can still see on my stomach that I have scarring, that I have stretch marks, and there's other stuff on it. But overall, I would say my stomach looks pretty damn good. I have tight skin. I do use growth hormone, and I think growth hormone helped with skin tone. It seems like my skin has more bounce and elasticity to it from using growth hormone. Could be all in my head. There may not be anything to that, but I feel like that my skin is fairly tight for a guy my age. I still have some excess skin. I got the old man saggy ass, but when I diet down for contest prep, usually it tightens up when I cut water, and it's not too bad. But I do have some saggy skin on my glutes. I don't know what you can do about that. Probably not much other than just get your glutes bigger. I think my stomach looks fairly decent now. It's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. I do need to get the asymmetry fixed in my right pec at some point with the nipple. I just haven't wanted to take 2 or 3 months off from training or actually it'd probably be a month off from training and then probably a couple months before I could go full blast again. I just haven't wanted to deal with that right now since I have been so close to competing for a pro card. We'll see how it goes. I may or may not get that fixed. I'm not that concerned about it. Having a third surgery done on my right pec does not seem that appealing to me. So in summary, 3 surgeries on my left pec. That's how bad my gyno was and how bad the surgeries were that I had before. Wasn't until the last surgery that he did it right. That one turned out great. It looks, you can see in the pictures of me now, how awesome that looks. The right pec, he only did liposuction on that one to get the excess fat out, but there's still some scar tissue there that needs to be scar tissue / breast tissue. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely a lump behind my nipple and probably some skin, just a little bit of skin excision to make the nipples even with each other. They are not even with symmetrical right now. They're not even. You can really notice it in my off-season pics. People love to point it out on Instagram, but once I diet down for contest prep, it's not super noticeable, and I can hide it a bit with my posing. But overall, that was my experience. Would I do it over again? Maybe, maybe not. The tummy tuck? I don't know, man. That was a brutal-ass surgery. I don't know if I would do that again, but it does look good now. But it was a year of hell afterwards, and the excess bleeding afterwards, which was probably my fault. I would not recommend anyone to take fish oil going into a surgery. Most surgeons now will tell you 2 to 3 weeks prior to surgery that you're supposed to come off all supplements, discontinue using any supplements, and allow your body to clean out. Probably a good idea to listen to your surgeon and not be a dunderhead like I am. I always do that and go back into the gym too soon. And every time I've done that, I've regretted it. I had a surgery on a melanoma on my back that I split the stitches open doing rows 2 weeks post-surgery. Or I think 10 days, something like that. I don't remember what it was. It was not pretty, and I have a giant scar on my back now because of it. I've had so many surgeries over the years, I can't tell you how many surgeries I've had. It's almost embarrassing to admit. North of 10, something like that. 10, 12, 15. I've had multiple knee surgeries. I had to have my neck operated on. I've had my stomach operated on multiple times. I've had gyno operated on multiple times. I'm a wreck, but I keep going. Anyway, folks, let me know what you think in the comments section below. If you have questions about the surgery, let me know down here. I ask you to please go check out my Anabolics e-course that I did with Kurt Havens. It is the best e-course, science-based e-course on anabolics that you can find anywhere. You're going to learn how all this stuff works, the proper way to apply it. It is fantastic if you're a science nerd and you like going into the deep dive on this stuff. It is a good course for you. Go check it out. Link for the free preview is in the video description below. I have almost 2 hours of free content up there that you can watch without having to pay a dime. And then if you like it, you can buy the rest of it. There's over 8 modules in the course. Thank you for watching, guys. For coaching or consultations, head over to www.anabolicbodybuilding.com to book your spot today. I can help you with optimizing hormones, fat loss, muscle gain, physique, athletic performance, nutrition, and health. For more information, shoot me an email at bigp3rd@gmail.com.